This is my official position on Bitcoin. I've said very little about Bitcoin in the way of video posts. And for the most part, I've been, I guess you have to say, critical. In my last video, I made a blanket statement about the distributed architecture of Bitcoin. As you might know, or may not know, I have a fairly extensive technical background. And so I was a bit critical on its distributed nature. But uh, basically what I said was that because it's massively distributed does not necessarily make it a panacea in terms of it being a robust architecture. And the failure of Mount Gox, I believe, is proof of that. But the failure of Mount Gox was in no way indicative of.
You have an incoming call from James Longley.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Annie. How are you?
Not too bad.
That's the way. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me, mate. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's quite all right. My pleasure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to get some advice with the vertical spread
Uh-huh.
and how I should set that up. So I know that I go deep in with the over the weekend in general. I get like a 70-80 delta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then what would I do on the other leg? What would you suggest for the other side?
Oh, when I'm doing a vertical spread, that's a completely different thing. I'm not so worried about what my delta is on each leg. I'm more worried about what the spread looks like.
Okay.
So, most people are asking me, they just want to go long or short or whatever. And as a general rule, when you're going long or short, you just want to have it act as much like stock as possible and reduce the risk as much as possible. And that's why you get a high delta, because a high delta is telling you basically what your odds are that you're going to be in the money.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's really the same thing when you're doing a spread. You're trying to put something up there that's going to not only give you the highest percentage possible to be in the money, but you have to kind of weigh that also with the risk to the reward.
Okay.
Right. And so what I mean by that is, what's your maximum loss versus your maximum gain.
Okay.
And typically, what I'm looking for is somewhere between 30 and 40% of the cost of the spread. So, if I can get my risk to reward somewhere between a 1 to 3 to a 1 to 2 risk to reward, then I'm happy. That's usually a good value. I'm looking at the overall spread as being a good cost to reward type of value.
Okay.
So
perhaps if I look at today's option.
Yeah, let me bring up Thinkorswim, and I'll share my screen with you in a second here.
Okay.
I mean, it's all about, how. Hold on a second.
Huh?
All right, let's see here. I got a million things going on at once. I got to concentrate. Okay, Ernie. Look at one thing. All right, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, it's coming through now. Or not. Oh, there it is, yeah. Okay, I see it.
All right. So I'm in the Analyze tab.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to the risk profile, and actually I'm going to go to add simulated trade. So I'm going to create a trade. Let me get rid of this trade that's already in here. All right. So you want to have it probably a couple months. You know, this is the tough part. You know, how far out do you go? And sometimes you have to play with this a little bit and look at where you are at. But generally, I'm looking for at minimum 45 days, but not over. So in this case, you know, you could go for one of the weeklies. That's like this April 14 right here. It's 37 days out. 51 days is like over my my limit. You know, I usually don't like to go that far out for a spread.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, why? Yeah.
It's the I have back tested results that say that, you know, I shoot for 45 days or under, and then I have a certain result, a certain way to manage the winning trade too. I wait for it to make 25% of my max profit, somewhere between 25 and 50%. Then I pull the trigger. So those two criteria get me right within my pop and rock that I'm looking to do. So that's really what it comes down to. So, you know, I mean, I could probably come up with different criteria, but I mean, I found that those criteria like give me my optimal results.
Okay, gotcha.
So the cool thing about Apple is that with the weeklies is that you can buy weeklies well before they're actually available, or the way they're supposed to be available, because, you know, they have weeklies that you can buy now that won't expire for 37 days, which is kind of odd. Never.
Yeah, it kind of defeats the take the name weeklies out, huh?
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah.
So who cares?
That's it.
So let's just try buying a spread, see what happens. Or well, let's see, we'll buying a vertical, and then go to the risk profile. So you can see here, I'm going to reduce it down to one contract just so it's
easy. Yeah.
So we can see here that there is a total risk of $130 and a maximum profit of $62. No, that's not right. $120. All right, so that's almost a 1-to-1. So what I'd probably do is I'd want to adjust this so that it gives me something better, slightly better than that. So I guess we could move this out a little bit. All right. So now I'm at 233 and 267. I'm starting to get into range here of what I'm looking for. You know, maybe even one more strikeout might do me. So this is probably what I'm looking for right here. So with this particular, I mean, this is a relatively expensive trade too, but you know, I've got about a 3 to 4 risk to reward.
Okay, sorry, Annie. How are you seeing that? Because I don't normally use Think or Swim. Right? So I'm not familiar with what I'm looking at.
I'm just looking at the maximum risk, which is about $318. I'm just looking at the losing side. right?
Okay, yeah. So you're just looking at the white line.
Not
Yeah.
the white line, the red line. I'm looking at the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so the red line right here. It's at $318,
Yeah.
and that's on the lost side, and on the win
Yeah.
side, it's about 400. It's $432. So that's why I'm saying it's about.
And you anticipate that you'll actually get about 50% of that.
Well, what
On
I'm
the eight.
what I'm doing here is, if I take this trade, it's about a 50-50 trade either way. I mean, it's the odds that it will. There's a 50% chance because my break even and the price of, let's see, where's the price of Apple? Actually, the price of Apple's right here.
Mm-hmm.
I might back off on the
FD
this a little bit.
overbought.
There we go. All right, that's probably more like it. All right. Well, that doesn't even trade. Ah, that looks good. All right, so here's a trade where I have. Why isn't that traded? Oh, these are because they're April 14s. They look really good on paper, but they're telling me they're not traded. But in any event, I mean the concept's the same. I'm adjusting these so that I get a good risk to reward ratio. I'm trying to get my I could adjust this so that I'm already in the money or whatever, but the better risk reward ratio I get, the better. And I'm usually going to start my trade off right about at the break even point. So that means that I have about a 50-50 chance going either way, and so I'm making up for that by trying to get the best possible return on my capital that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
And as a general rule, I'm looking for at least 1 to 2. I would prefer like something better than that. I would prefer 1 to 3. I mean, so somewhere between 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 is what I'm looking for. So in this particular case, I'm at about $318 of potential risk, with about $932 of potential profit. That's a 1 to 3.
Yeah.
All right. So now that's giving me the kind of risk reward that I can live with.
Yeah.
So I got a 50-50 chance of making the trade, but a risk reward that kind of gives me what I'm looking for.
It justifies it. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Now I could increase the odds of this by let's see, I have to go to a different month. Let's go to May. And let's go to a 510, 520. So now here's here's a trade where I have about a 1 to 1. All right, but you see, I'm already starting in the money. And so what I'll do is I'll do something like I don't know what your tool does, but I mean in Thinkorswim I can set up these little lines here, and I can also use this probability chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I can project it out, say a month.
Yeah.
And I can look at what my probabilities are of being in the money. So,
yeah. Okay.
So what I'm doing here is I go from here to here, and I can see that my my probability of being in the money is almost 40%, a 60-40 proposition.
Yeah.
And so that's something else I might take into consideration. I'm looking to be in the money. in general, I like to have a probability of profit that is above 50%, preferably above 60%, and then a return on capital that's 1 to 2 or better. So a risk to risk to reward. And so if I do all my trades like that, then over the long run, that's going to be the odds that I should achieve over a vast number of trades.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
And that's basically the tactic I use.
And what's the cost of putting this trade on? Is that down there? Is that $5? So 500. Is that right?
Yeah, this one's a $5 debit. Yes, 500.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why you're paying more for this particular trade is because there's a better chance of profit here.
Yeah.
So, again, another thing that you have to take into consideration.
It's just that when I was doing mine, I was parting with like just under 5K for the last over the weekend trade that we did.
Yeah.
And I risked 5K and got what, 300.
Wow.
Well, I mean the cost of the trade was 5K.
Right.
That's because I just bought a call deep in the money.
Well,
$50 in the money.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, but see, your probability of profit is much higher on that particular trade.
Mm-hmm.
Your probability of profit on a trade like that is, in the 80 to 90% range.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it costs you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
You're paying for when you're paying for lower risk, you pay for it.
Yeah. So I'm just paying for those deltas, right?
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You're paying for the deltas.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. I mean, that's a fair use of your money, as long as you're consistent and you do it over time, because that's going to give you a more deterministic result over the long term.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, everybody's capacity and tolerance for risk is a little bit different. And I give some guidelines on in the course on what I think people should use, but that doesn't necessarily have to be your guideline.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might want to go more conservative. Some people will want to go a little riskier. I choose something a little bit towards conservative, and so I'm looking to make a little bit less money, but with a lot less risk.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of where I want to almost put myself.
Mm-hmm.
I work hard enough for it. I might as well try and save it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, also risking. Now, when you say you risked 5K, it cost you 5K, but that's not really what you were risking. Although, when you think about it, I didn't see the trade either, so I don't know how,
Mm-hmm.
What the odds were on that. But you have to measure that 5K, that one trade, against your total capital, and whether that makes sense too.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's say that you have a $50,000 account.
Yeah.
5K represents 10%. Are you willing to risk 10% on each trade? And are you also willing to risk the possibility of having, say, 4 or 5 bad trades in a row? So that's something else that you have to kind of figure in. What are the odds that you're going to have, say 3 or 4 or 5 bad trades in a row?
Yeah.
And then figure out, well, what's the maximum size trade that I would want to have on in the event that worst case scenario happens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're dealing with something like the over the weekend trade, it has a win rate of above 70%, close to 75%. So I guess what you would have to figure out from there is, well, what are the odds of having, say 3 or 4 bad trades in a row? I mean, it's happened before. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens.
I guess with the one that I was, it was the last over the weekend trade. So by spending, it was $50, but Apple was already $50 in the money at that stage. So Apple would have to drop by $50.
Right. Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
He was taking a long time. Let me just tell him that I'll be right with him in 2 minutes.
Yep.
So is that clear?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that's good. So that's risking a lot less though, isn't it? Because in that trade, in comparison to what I was risking in this vertical, it's risking a lot less.
Yeah, and you have to weigh that. I mean, you have to take into consideration the worst possible scenario. If you're going to be doing, let's say that you're only trading the over the weekend and the into Friday expiration trade, and maybe the new one that I put out there as well. You're probably going to be doing 1 to 2 trades a week. That's 100 trades a year. Out of 100 trades, I can say that there's probably going to be an occurrence of maybe 2 or 3 times out of that period where you might have, a losing streak of 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Right. So then you just have to figure, well, and just for kicks, you might even just raise it up to 4 and say, well, what's the maximum that I want to lose on 4 losing trades in a row?
Yeah.
And then from there, then you'll figure out the bet size that you want to go with on your next trade.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's what I've got to work out. Yeah, okay.
All right.
So that helps a lot, Ernie. Thank you very much for taking the time, mate, to speak to me about it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Anytime.
Cool. I'll leave you to it then. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
See you.
Bye. Hey,
Hey,
there he is.
here I am. I'm lounging back here. Yeah, it works.
So I did a live Google Hangout earlier today for about an hour and a half, and I kind of opened it up to everybody and whoever came in. I got about 6 guys come in, and we just sat there and we talked about all kinds of cool shit. Gypsy Hustled came in.
Wow, that guy's been following my channel for like 4 years.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him.
What kind? Is he like a? Did he talk? Did you see him?
Oh yeah, he's a Brit. He didn't have his camera on. But his name is Ed.
Okay, yeah, that guy's been following me for years.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And then what's the other guy? Ed Beck, who has that channel. Oh, what's it called? Hold on a second. I'll tell you. I don't know why I forget his channel's name. Freedom Force USA. You familiar with him?
Freedom First. It sounds familiar.
Yeah. And there were a few other people that you may or may not know or have come across, but we had a really good conversation, and it worked. It worked well. The only problem was that some people don't have the best internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough. because there's a lot of noise, a lot of dropping, or some people can only. Now the other cool thing is that you can turn on some neat features here. Like here, I'll turn this on, this chat. Do you see that?
I see it says Ernie here. This little thing, click here.
On the left-hand side.
Oh, chat. Okay, click on it. Okay, yes, I can type in. So basically, it's their version of Skype kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
See the message I just sent?
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
So you can use this with the people that you're the people that aren't online as well. Let's see if I can find the link here. Hold on a second.
Yep.
So you can use this with the people that you're. Be quiet, Ernie.
So you're recording this through Google?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. I'm going to give you another link so that you can see this. This is where where it's actually being shown live. So anybody can go. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Sorry.
It's kind of like Pal Talk, sort of.
Pal Talk.
Pal Talk. Talk.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Here's
actually, Drutter started Pal Talk. Silverbugs is actually pretty good. During when silver was hot, every night we'd have several dozen people. We talked about silver, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when silver fell under 40, it was gone, and no one was there.
This is where okay, so the cool part about this is that somebody can come on here and say, "Hey, Joe, what's up?"
So this is from the chat thing.
Yeah, I just did that from the YouTube webpage.
Okay, so I should go to YouTube then now.
No. I'm just saying that people can watch it without being a video participant, and they can communicate with us through this chat.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. So we're chatting, they can see us, and in live time they can ask us questions and stuff.
Exactly.
So it's very similar to some of these internet radio things that I've seen.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's free for one. It works, and it's all integrated with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other cool part is the application that we're looking at right now. Our videos. That's all kind of built into Google, but I have a separate piece of software that I bought, and it's called Wirecast. And I could set this up so that instead of looking through the Google window, I'm actually broadcasting through my Wirecast application, and it hooks directly into this Hangout. And the cool part about it is it allows me to bring in multiple sources of media into the Hangout. So I can bring in other videos, I can bring in static images, I can bring in different sound sources, all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And so you can do a relatively sophisticated presentation. So imagine if you had like 3 or 4 video sources here. I could have one pointing at my pool table, and another one pointing at some guest that I have, and maybe another one pointing at my dog. And then I could have maybe multiple screens set up, static images or videos that I want to pop in there whenever I want. And I can also do overlays, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. But I mean, that's what the software does. It's like a studio production piece of equipment that allows you to mix and match, multi-mix all these different media sources and then display them in the same way that my face is being displayed right now.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So
So I guess so you want to do this tomorrow? I guess we can set up like is this like we need like a webinar / Google Plus thing, I guess, or
yeah. So excuse me. So what I did was I created a short video that said, "Hey, I'm holding a Google Hangout, and here it is. It's going to be at this time, and here's the link if you want to join it, and here's the other link if you just want to view it."
okay.
And then so to view it, all people had to do is just click my picture on the web page or click the link I had below. And other people actually came in and joined me. There was about 6 people that joined me. And so that's what I'll do. I'll publish something,
Mm-hmm.
and put all the appropriate links, and then tomorrow night we should have an audience.
Cool. Yeah. And I'll do a preview video saying, hey, this time try Google Hangout, and it'll be good.
Yeah, and I'll give you the link too,
Okay.
so that you can put it in your thing, and then we can, gather as many people as possible. And I'll also put something out to my mail list that should bring out a few more people.
How many people are on your mail list right now?
Almost 2,800.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, on average I get about 600 opens.
Mm-hmm.
The list is kind of old, and I think it's kind of stale. But there's a lot of new people on the list. And that's mostly the people that are opening it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's enough that on something like this we should be able to get 100, maybe 200 people watching us.
Yeah, that's a. Some of the other guys, they actually do it live and they record it. Like some of those guys, like Corey C and those guys,
Mm-hmm.
they have their own little thing. I think you probably saw that when they had the whole anti-George for T thing going on.
Well, in the beginning of that, they brought me in for an interview because I was defending George. Did you see that?
I couldn't bear to watch the whole thing. All this George for title stuff, I just couldn't bear to watch it. I mean, I know who he is. He's kind of a goofball. He's kind of harmless, but it's I don't know. It's just it's people getting all upset about George thing is so old. The last couple of years, that it's like, oh, George's a scammer. He's a scammer. Like, well, if you don't send any money, how are you being scammed?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they thought they were going to bring me in. They thought that I was some kind of goofball or know nothing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was defending George only because people were ganging up on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they wanted to interview me, and they thought that they were going to rag on me. And when I got in there, I started, I was civil and I was talking logic,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of blew them away, And at the end of the interview, they were all like apologizing to me and saying, we respect you for coming on here, and because you was one guy against 3 guys,
Right.
like going into the gladiator ring or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then they turn around and then they kind of rewrite history about the way the interview went.
Yeah, I saw that part. I saw where you were saying, hey, listen, you guys didn't represent what had really happened and all that.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically scumbags.
Well, there's one guy. Does DJ Grooveline ever post on your thing? This guy, DJ Grooveline? He was friends with those guys, and there's a falling out. Okay, so DJ Grooveline was a part of their little group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was DJ Grooveline found a girlfriend on YouTube, right? And he's a very influential guy. He's a follower. So now he was following his girlfriend, and his girlfriend wasn't approving these guys. So they had a big falling out because he's like picking his girlfriend over these guys, and the guys are all offended. He's like, no, you don't pick us over a woman. She's like, so that there's a big falling out between DJ Grooveline and those guys.
Right. Yeah. They're nothing more than really a vigilante crew, and they think that they're kind of like these intellectuals, but they're not. They're just a bunch of young guys that.
Testosterone. They're high in testosterone.
Exactly.
And they kind of want to be the enforcers of YouTube, or they want to be like the vigilantes. They want to be the So yeah, I'm friendly with Corey. I've talked with him a lot. And he's pretty genuine. I talk to him that, but he does have strong biases, and he does have kind of strong opinions.
Yeah, the other thing is he made a lot of money, I guess, doing some production work for, was it
A rapper.
or some rapper? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been basically living off of that now for the past couple of years, but I think he's running out of money.
What's his name? The guy. Who was the guy? The guy was DMC. No. Something like that. I forgot. I don't know all the rappers. But he's some big name rapper.
Yeah, it was. So that's So I don't know what he plans on doing with himself now.
Well, I think he's like maybe he wants to invest or something because maybe I think he did well with precious metals. I think he was one of the earlier adopters of precious metals.
Oh, all right. So Don has this new thing, a card with silver on it.
Yes, at 1 gram. I said, Don, how much is it? How much silver? 85 cents of silver. I mean, I said, you got to sell an awful lot of those cards to make any money. 85 cents on a card. It's like a laminated business card, and you got a little bit of silver on it.
So what's the plan?
I don't know.
He's going to end up telling me anyway. So.
Yeah, he is. I don't understand what I mean. 85 cents. Come on. I mean, I'll get junk silver if I'm interested in that much kind of silver.
No, why did he show it to you? I mean, what was the whole deal?
He was telling me about it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have anything to say.
He's excited about ideas, and he wants to talk.
You're on the line. You're on line with him for all this time. What do you say, man?
He spent most of the time about bitcoins. That was like the first half hour, and I was interested in hearing what he said about bitcoins.
All right.
He starts talking about his pig bid. I'm like, 85 cents of silver on a card. I just tuned him out. I'm like, this is so dumb. I was thinking to myself, I really don't care about 85 cents. You know how many you have to sell to make any kind of money?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Even the pig bid concept, he makes really, it's like micropayments.
Yeah, I mean, all the stuff he does, it seems like micropayments. It's like, why even bother? I mean, it's I don't know. I think it's like to keep busy. Or he was making. He has a button machine. He was making buttons, and then he was making what's it called? Like Bill Murray commemorative notes and stuff, and he said people would buy it if there's a Silver Futures commemorative note. I'm like, Don, I don't know about that. The Silver Futures book, I don't know.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time. That I think because he sells his silver reports and he sells them for like $5, and I'm saying, what the fuck, man? Why don't you sell them for $40?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that guy, Martin Armstrong, he charges $200 for a gold report, and people buy it. $200. Same with the guy Mike Stathis. He had a big gold report last year for $200. And he was right. The gold was in a downward trend and blah 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 blah. But it's like, it's almost like if you charge $5, people don't take it seriously enough. I don't know.
Actually, they take it a lot more seriously when you charge the bigger money. They feel like it's a more important report.
Yeah.
and the dirty little secret is it takes about the same amount of effort to put together a $200 report as it does a $5 report. Exactly.
But I mean, think about that gold report like Martin Armstrong put out. If a lot of these gold bugs had actually bought it and sold gold, they would have saved much more than $200. If they had bought his report and took action on it. A lot of those guys who had those reports last year when they said gold's going to tank.
Right.
But yeah. So anyhow, yeah. Don's puts a lot of energy into Bitcoin, but he doesn't have any, does he? So I think for him, he gets fascinated by these topics. But if he doesn't have any, there's a certain point where who cares,
Yeah, I don't understand why he's been spending so much time on it. I think I've created a total of 4 videos.
Yeah, I mean it's a fascinating topic, but I wonder how does Don really make his money?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Do you think his wife works?
Well, he's told me that he made a lot of money with his day trade show or his stock trading service years back. He said he was making a lot of money, like
millions.
Yeah, he was making like a couple $100,000 a month for like a couple of years or something like that.
Yeah.
So he made a lot of money. Now I don't know if he's living off of that now or
he said he's lost most of it or something like that. I think he said. But I don't know the true story because he'll tell me a story, and then a few years later, it's like I don't know if he was making it up or if he was exaggerating or whatever. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like an honest enough guy and a nice guy. So I have no idea, but I just don't understand his whole idea of this nickel and dime stuff.
Yeah, I don't either. I wonder if he's operating at a loss for tax purposes. I don't know, or he's just a busy person.
Operating on loss for tax purposes.
Maybe his wife works because some troll was telling me how he went ahead and looked up everybody on YouTube he could. He's got their phone numbers, he knows where they live, and he was talking about Airline Trading. You know that guy Dan, Airline Trading? Yeah. He was telling in the message he says that his wife supports him, and Dan's actually a really bad trader and never makes money, but his wife supports him and stuff like that. And I don't know, but I mean it was kind of creepy. This guy he was telling me he was going to expose me. He's going to. And I'm like, I just blocked the guy, but he kind of freaked me out.
Airline Trading said he was going to expose you?
No. I'm sorry. This guy, his name was Gary McBear or something like that. Gary McBear or something like that.
Okay, so this is a guy that's keeping tabs on all these people?
He's keeping tabs on all of us. He's got our phone numbers, our addresses, our family members, and he was some kind of troll, and he was saying how he knows about everybody on YouTube, and he collects this information, and he's going to get us if we don't behave or something. And I was like, what?
Don't these people have lives?
Well, I guess out of 10,000 subscribers, every few thousand you get a real crazy one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what happens. And when I was going through this whole George for Title thing and defending him, I started getting all these guys pouncing on me, and even after I put out the video saying that I'm done with it, I'm wiping myself clean, there was still some people that hung on saying that I haven't received all my penance yet, that I needed to suffer a little bit more, so that they were gonna hang out and keep on trashing and trolling my channels.
This group sprung up, and they're kind of like, it's like the guy Truth Crackers. You ever see that guy Truth Cracker?
Oh yeah.
He's a professional guy apparently, but for some reason he got fixated on these people. It's like, I don't get it. At one time he was making like a dozen videos a day a couple of years ago.
He's the Aussie guy, right?
He's from Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
Truth Cracker, that guy.
Yeah, right.
and he has a baby with a YouTuber named Liberty Mom.
Yeah, I guess it takes all kinds, Joe.
It was interesting because I was Skyping with this woman, Liberty Mom. She's this attractive woman and everything, but she had fake ones, and that really bothered me. So and she had a tattoo of her ex-husband on her back, like on her back. Her ex-husband's name is on her back, right? I was like, no. And so she got Truth Crackers, and she came over and visited her. They did a video series of them in Hawaii. Then he got her pregnant. They're making videos saying, "Look at where we got baby Truth Crackers," and now of course she has the baby, and it's I don't know what the soap opera is, but that could have been me. That could have been me if I had seen Liberty Mom. I'd have some baby in Oregon right now fighting custody over this kid, and you know what she's got 3 kids with 3 different guys. And I think every 5 years she gets another kid because then they was to go back in the dole.
Oh jeez.
Every couple of years she needs another baby. And she likes kids, So, but I mean she was crazy. Wow, she was crazy. But she had a good figure, and she attractive woman. But I introduced her to Truth Crackers, so that and then she was looking for a nice guy, I guess. He flew out to see her. He was in love, and she said, "Get out of here." And I don't know what the story is with those two, but Liberty Mom still watches me. Last year she sent a message saying how she still watches me and she still likes me and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Her name is Liberty Mom.
Liberty. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. Hang on. This story, this is like the height of gossip on YouTube. Of course, it wasn't known by everybody. Let's see. I wonder if she has the same channel. Liberty Mom something. Liberty Mom something.
Beauty by Liberty? No. Liberty. I have a Liberty Mom.
Yeah, I think it's Liberty Mom or Liberty Mom something. I'm subscribed to her, but it's not in alphabetical order though. So, if I can find her. Maybe she took her channel down or something. But
I just wanted to see what she looked like.
well, she took her picture down, but she actually posed in some girly magazines too.
Oh, okay. So she was attractive enough to actually go under the camera professionally.
Yeah, she put professional pictures, and actually, Truth Crackers posted not her on the cover of this girly magazine or something, being so proud about how his girlfriend.
He scored a big score.
Yeah. But that was wow. Yeah, but okay. So now when you people talk about reasons for having gold and silver, right? There are people who are buying stuff like gold and silver and bitcoins, and they're not telling you why. You see, her husband was in prison for murder, right?
Oh,
And it's just okay. So, but it was like it was like manslaughter. No. Apparently it was for assault and battery or Pete. I don't know if they killed the guy or not, but the guy was really violent, right? And the guy was a used car. The guy owned used car lots, right? Where he would go to government auctions of stolen property. He would get the cars.
The prototypical used car salesman. He's got to be really a sleazebag.
Yeah. So what happened was, so he was in prison for like 2 years or so, and what she was doing was she was taking his money and buying gold and silver because he couldn't track it, and that was a legitimate use of gold and silver, and she was very clever about it.
Right.
So because he was trying to keep track of the statements, and he was a millionaire. She said because he was actually a good businessman. He was very hard seller, aggressive. He was very motivated and stuff. But so she was telling up this guy, and she was like trying to make me feel like a knight in shining armor to save her. But I was just scared. I was like, I'm not gonna get involved with this, So Truth Cracker was a knight in shining armor. But excuse me. But she said she's like blonde, and in the video she'd act dumb, but she was really smart and cunning. She's extremely cunning, and she's a very smart person, and she was able to take a huge size of her boyfriend's money and put it in gold and take it with her.
Oh,
I mean, that's one reason why gold will never go away.
There's Liberty moms out there.
Yeah, she's and I couldn't really blame her because she's telling me stories about this guy, and it was like this guy's kind of. She told me that of course this is all not for YouTube consumption, but she said that he wanted to have insurance money, so he burnt down one of his dealerships, right?
Oh,
and then he told his lawyer, and the lawyer said, listen, if you commit a crime after the fact and tell me, I can't rat on you. But if you tell me of a crime beforehand and commit it, I'm supposed to turn you in. So the guy burned his lot down, and he couldn't even click on the insurance. And the fire department and the police knew because they said, who's this idiot who burns his own place down, and now he can't collect? And they knew that he did it because it was the... I don't know. I'm flabbergasted. So, I mean, only on YouTube. Can you imagine that? A guy burnt down his business, and he tells his lawyer first that he's about going to the insurance company. And the lawyer's like, listen, if you've already done it, but you tell me you're going to go to the insurance company, that's fraud. I have to turn you in. And it was like,
oh, jeez.
So it was like, wow. Okay, so that kind of scared me. But yeah, she still watches me and she still likes me. So I mean, if I want to have an illegitimate child, I'm sure I can go to Oregon and get myself,
Yeah.
I mean, she's,
I'm sure there are better pickings out there.
I know, but the story was so fascinating because, like, I got on YouTube and I had a wave of women like her contact me, and they're all nuts. I mean, not all of them. I mean, a lot of them were nuts. So.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like some sort of psychological test that you could give them, so you could whittle them down to the ones that are less nuts.
Well, the ones who are less nuts are not as bold about contacting me right away.
Right.
They're actually at the Max Kaiser meetup there was a woman who she watched my channel and I got along with her, but then when I broke up with Jack Yo, I actually posted a video asking. I guess she stopped watching it, but she was a nice lady. She said she likes my videos, and I could tell she's probably into me, and she goes, this is my handle and blah 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 blah. But she knew I was with Jack Yo, but last year I posted a video saying, hey, and no response. So
Okay. Hey, you got to throw the worm out there every once in a while.
okay. Okay, yeah. So I mean, I bet Ernie, I bet we could charge money for this kind of gossip. People would pay for this gossip. Silver Futures gossip, $50 a pop. Well, I'll tell you all about Jack Yo. You just pay $50. No, but she'd have a fit. She'd freak out, and she'd come after me, and she'd no, I think that would be good.
Yeah.
What the hell?
What?
You let him tear up the bag?
I didn't let him tear it up. He did it. My dog was tearing up things down here.
Was that because a reason? Do you ever watch The Dog Whisperer? Maybe there's a reason your dog's doing that.
Yeah,
You know what?
he wanted attention. He wanted.
Yes. He's
You want-
jealous of me.
No, this was earlier today.
Uh-huh.
I haven't gotten over there yet. He's an unbelievably smart dog. My wife thinks he's dumb, but he's not. He's like super smart.
He just plays dumb in front of your wife.
No, it's just that she thinks that if the dog doesn't listen to you, that makes him dumb.
I see.
All right, but in fact, he's cunning. You know, he plans things, and you know, he gets you into situations where he can manipulate you, and he does it on purpose. It's almost scary.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's a smart dog.
Like a horror movie where you have the dog that's going to start doing crimes and stuff.
Well, when you consider what these dogs were bred for, it's you know, they were bred to hunt lion,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd send out these dogs ahead of the hunters, and they would corral up. 3 dogs could corral an 800-pound lion,
Wow.
and then keep them there for up to a day for the hunters to catch up and then do their thing.
That's amazing how you can breed animals for that specific type of intelligence. You know what that tells me? That tells me that the information is passed along genes from parent to child. I believe that information like that is passed because that's not random, right? You can't randomly breed for 3 dogs circling a lion, right? That's ridiculous.
Well, when you see like 3 Ridgebacks at a dog park,
Mhm.
they do the same thing with other dogs. They corral them, and it's amazing how they do it.
Wow.
They're playing, but
They're playing, but they surround you. You know they.
yeah. But like you're saying, it's instinctual. It's inbred.
But that can't. I think what happens is the behavior gets passed to the genes or something like that. I believe those theories. I think that makes sense. You know.
I think it does. Have you ever heard the expression "keep the lions at bay"?
Yes.
That comes from the Ridgeback.
Okay. Now, how can the lion is so big and powerful? Could these three dogs really kill the lion and not kill themselves?
Oh no, they they don't kill the lion. They annoy it until the lion gives up.
Oh, I see.
So
they exhaust the lion. They probably have more endurance than the lion does.
oh yeah.
Because
They surround them. And they use the 3 in a sort of triangulation mode, and they come in and they'll nip at them on one side, and the lion will go after this one, and then they'll get him from the other side, until the lion just basically, like you said, gives up out of exhaustion.
Yeah, because cats are not endurance animals, and a dog has more endurance. I can see how a canine would take a feline and exhaust them and make them,
And these particular dogs, they were bred for a particular type of endurance. They can, here, just to give you an idea, like a greyhound, they can go wicked fast, but they can only do it for a short period of time, and then they're done.
Right.
Now, they race Ridgebacks, and they turn in times almost as fast as greyhounds. But here's the kicker. A Ridgeback can keep up with a galloping horse for up to 4 hours.
Uh-huh.
All right? So that means that they can be going 30 miles an hour for 4 hours without stopping.
Wow.
So it gives you an idea of their endurance.
Wow.
They also bred them to be extremely durable in huge changes in temperature.
I see.
So because they were they come from Zimbabwe, I guess, which was Rhodesia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at night it can get down to the 30s, and then during the day it's in the hundreds. So they go through these huge changes, but they're able to take it, and they can go days without water. So they're like a super hunting dog.
Uh-huh.
What they did was the Dutch, when they colonized South Africa, they brought with them the Mastiff, the Great Dane, the Greyhound, the Bloodhound, and then there was a native Ridgeback dog that was in South Africa that had the had the Ridge. It was sort of like a semi-domesticated dog,
Mhm.
and they took all those dogs and bred them together and created this sort of super hunting dog. And that's
Okay.
all right. So now you know more than you ever wanted to know about the Ridgebacks.
Right. So anyhow, yeah. I guess we can tomorrow. We'll plan a Google Hangout tomorrow.
Yep.
Does your wife watch YouTube at all? Does she know who us characters are?
No, only what I tell her.
Okay.
She could give two shits.
Okay.
She doesn't want to hear any of the soap opera or anything like that. So,
No.
but it's kind of interesting, And you're right that YouTube seems to bring out these crazies, and when you have a big audience, they're bound to show up.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. I heard someone did a review on it and said that it was a really fantastic movie if you take it for what it is. Oh, I know who it was. I think it was Joe Rogan said that it was a really great movie.
I thought it was really good. I mean, obviously, the extreme nudity would get people distracted, but I thought the story was done really well. It was good writing, good acting, and it was interesting. It was never dull. It was extremely interesting. Every moment was interesting. And a movie about markets and trading was fascinating.
Well, see, of course, the critics aren't going to like it because it didn't have enough, I guess, a theatrical flair for them, right? But a movie, I judge a movie by whether or not it kept my attention and I was entertained.
Yeah, it did that for sure. I mean, it was the stuff they did. It was just so outrageous, and I mean the characters in the movie were it was very interesting. And the scams they did. I mean, they did so many scams that were so. I mean,
that was all based on like true stuff too, right?
It was based on true stuff too.
That's even.
And I looked up a lot of stuff really was true. Like yeah, so yeah, you got to see the movie, but it's I recommend seeing it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, maybe I'll take the wife this weekend.
But there is tons of nudity, just so you're aware.
But that's all right. I'm not bothered by nudity.
I mean, your wife might be surprised. Hey, what's with there's lots of drugs and nudity.
If you knew my wife, that wouldn't bother her either.
Okay.
She was a fast and loose Jewish girl. I don't know if that means anything to you.
No, but that's cool though. So yeah, I guess this thing works pretty well. So I guess we'll give it a test out tomorrow then.
Yeah, and let's see. It'll be. I don't know. Do you want me to invite anybody else? See if like Don Harold or Panama Orange or Rahul will show up too.
Well, maybe Don. See, I don't really know Panama. I don't know what his name is. He's a trader, and he's been extremely wrong in the last few years on some things. He's been so wrong on several things.
His name is Matt.
Matt's been so wrong on several things, glaringly wrong about some things. I'm like, wow. It was like I feel like I'm a better trader than him just by listening to what he says.
Well, I like listening to him because he has all these really cool names for patterns, like the megaphone and the big W and the bulldog.
The Big W was that movie called remember that movie it's a mad world or something like that, the Big W.
Oh yeah.
They had to find the treasure at the Big W.
Yeah, it was hidden under the Big W. It's with Spencer Tracy. I think that was one of his last movies.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I'll go just do other stuff, but yeah, we'll what time tomorrow do you think?
Well, I have it set for 8 o'clock.
Okay, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Okay, sounds good.
All right, I'll do all the promotion stuff, and then I'll give you the links.
Also, other people have said they wanted to see the webinar from yesterday because we went over some stuff. Is there do you have like a upload of it, or is it a?
Yeah, I'm gonna upload it tonight.
Okay, cool.
All right, Joe. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Yeah. There's the button.